Welcome back to ABC General Hospital. Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the intense drama unfolding in Port Charles on Friday, November St., where alliances shatter and secrets ignite fiery confrontations. At the bustling Brown Dog Bar, tension hangs thick in the air as Nina Reeves arrives. After receiving a cryptic summons that has her on edge, she confronts the shadowy figure across from her, her voice laced with suspicion and curiosity. "Why exactly did you want to see me?" The man shrouded in a sleek black suit that blends into the dim lighting remains partially obscured, his identity teasing the edges of revelation. Given the charged atmosphere and Nina's recent family turmoil, it's highly likely this is Drew Kane, the steadfast operative whose mind is laser focused on unraveling the web surrounding Willow Tate. Their fractured mother-daughter bond, strained by betrayals and hidden truths, forms the crux of their urgent discussion, with Drew pushing to expose Michael Carantho's alleged role in Willow's shooting and subsequent downfall. Nina, ever the protective force despite their rift, shares this drive, envisioning a path to reclaim Willow's children and mend their shattered family ties. Yet beneath the surface, Drew's determination could force not to confront uncomfortable loyalties, potentially drawing her deeper into a dangerous game of espionage and redemption that threatens to upend her carefully rebuilt life in Port Charles. Shifting scenes to the polished confines of Alexis Davis' law office, Willow Tate, fresh out on bail and radiating a mix of defiance and desperation, faces a pivotal moment in her legal battle. Alexis, with her sharp legal mind and empathetic gaze, lays out a bold request that could pivot Willow's fate, prompting an enthusiastic response. "Just tell me, I'll do anything." The office walls, lined with towering bookshelves of case files and legal to underscore the gravity of their exchange, hinting that this pertains directly to bolstering Willow's defense against the mounting charges. Willow's eagerness stems from her unyielding quest for justice, aligning her perfectly with Drew's vendetta to dismantle Michael's supposed frame-up, which she views as the root of her imprisonment and loss. As Harrison Chase, the dedicated detective operating in the shadows, intensifies his solo probe into the evidence gaps, Willow's commitment shines through, yet a nagging doubt lingers. What if Alex's proposal demands a sacrifice Willow isn't prepared to make? Like betraying a lingering trust or revisiting painful memories from her past? This crossroads not only tests Willow's resolve, but also weaves her deeper into Port Charles' intricate tapestry of alliances, where one wrong move could seal her isolation forever. Chase's investigation, fueled by anonymous tips and overlooked surveillance footage, promises to unear clues that might exonerate her, but only if Willow's anything extends to the uncomfortable truths Alexis might unearth. Over at the elegant Metro Court restaurant, where crystal glasses clink and soft jazz underscores whispered deals, Ava Drone locks eyes with Marco Rios across a candle-lit table, her expressionless storm of protective fury, as they await Lucas' arrival for what was meant to be a casual dinner. She leans in, her voice low and laced with steel, delivering a stark warning. If any harm befalls her nephew under his watch, Marco will face her unbridled wrath, turning their fragile partnership into an all-out war. This veiled threat undoubtedly circles back to Lucas' bold decision to relocate to the foreboding winter with Marco and his enigmatic father Sidwell. A move that has Ace instinct screaming danger from the Gothic halls of the former Casadini estate, haunted by visions of emotional manipulation or outright peril lurking in those shadowed quarters. Perhaps Sidwell's ruthless ambitions clashing with Luca's vulnerability. Ava positions herself as the fierce guardian, ready to unleash her Jerome family cunning on anyone who dares threaten her blood. Her concern amplifies the estate's dark legacy. From ghostly echoes of past Casadini intrigues to modern-day power plays, making her vow not just a warning but a declaration of war that could ripple through Port Charles' elite circles. If Lucas suffers, Ava's retaliation might involve calling in favors from unlikely allies, transforming a family dinner into the spark of a larger feud. Meanwhile, in the sleek elevator of the Metro Court, Lucas Jones ascends toward the restaurant with his older adoptive sister, Carly Corinthos. The confined space amplifying their simmering family rift. Carly, her face etched with maternal worry, voices her deep unease about Lucas' immersion into Winmere's toxic environment, criticizing Marco's influence and Sidwell's shadowy paternal return as a recipe for heartbreak. She draws parallels to her own life's cautions, urging Lucas to reconsider before it's too late. But he fires back with pointed hypocrisy, highlighting how she clings to her volatile bond with Sonny Corinthos despite the dangers, all for the sake of their shared child. In a heated escalation, Lucas issues a chilling threat. If Carly can't support his choices without judgment, she'll be the one exiled from his life, severing ties that have weathered storms before. This confrontation exposes the raw undercurrents of adoption and chosen family in Port Charles, where Lucas' quest for reconnection with his biological roots clashes against Carly's protective instincts, potentially fracturing their sibling dynamic irreparably. As the elevator dings open, the weight of his words hangs heavy, foreshadowing how Sidwell's world might not only endanger Lucas physically, but erode the support network he's fought to maintain. In another corner of the Metro Court restaurant, the air crackles with cautious optimism as Michael Corinthos reunites with his father Sonny over a private booth. The scent of gourmet dishes mingling with the scent of unresolved tensions. Michael, ever the strategist, introduces Sonny to Justinda Bracken, a poised ally whose testimony could fortify his alibi in the brewing scandal. Sonny, with his trademark intensity, muses aloud. Wouldn't it be nice to get to miracles in one night? Likely alluding to Laura Collins' triumphant mayoral victory shaking up city politics and young Rocco Falconer's potential clearance from false accusations that have haunted his future. Yet, Michael's path remains treacherous. While he places full faith in Justinda's discretion, Sonny's discerning hasn't fully vetted her, probing for any cracks in her story that could expose Michael to further scrutiny from authorities or rivals. This father-son exchange delves into themes of trust and redemption as Sonny's street-honed instincts clash with Michael's calculated risks, hinting at deeper family secrets that Justinda might unwittingly unravel. Their meeting, amid the restaurant's opulent backdrop, underscores how Port Charles' power players navigate miracles not as gifts, but as fragile bargains in a city rife with betrayal. Far from the city's glow, at the isolated and foreboding Windmere, Britt Westman stands frozen in the aftermath of unimaginable violence. Her medical composure shattered as blood pools on the ancient stone floor. Sidwell, his face a mask of cold calculation, has just gunned down Professor Henry Dalton in a brazen act. Right before her eyes, the gunshots echo, still reverberating through the castle's drafty halls, leaving Dalton's body slumped in a heap. Britt, her hands trembling and voice rising in a mix of horror and accusation, demands, "Why would you do that?" Questioning the needless brutality when subtler methods, like coercion or relocation, could have silenced the professor's knowledge of the clandestine research project. Sidwell's awareness of the WB's prying interest only heightens the recklessness, turning Winder into a pressure cooker where Britt's expertise is both asset and liability. Now with Dalton's demise sealing her complicity, Britt grapples with the terror of being expendable, completing her late father Victor's final enigmatic project tied to groundbreaking medical advancements. Under Sidwell's thumb feels like walking a razor's edge. His leverage, exploiting the promise of a Huntington's cure that dangles hope for her own genetic curse, binds her in a web of blackmail that twists her scientific passion into survival instinct. This pivotal moment not only endangers Britt's life, but illuminates Sidwell's ruthless empire building, where lives are pawns in a larger scheme involving international intrigue and forbidden science, leaving her to ponder desperate escapes or alliances that could topple the tyrant from within. Next, we will learn about the shocking demise of Henry Dalton that has left Port Charles reeling from betrayal and bloodshed. In the heart of Port Charles, where secrets fester like open wounds, Professor Henry Dalton's shadowy saga exploded into a torrent of chaos and finality. This enigmatic academic, portrayed with chilling intensity by Daniel Goddard, had woven a web of deceit involving unethical experiments and clandestine alliances that ensnared the town's most vulnerable souls. Over the past few weeks, his carefully constructed facade crumbled under the weight of his own indiscretions, culminating in a brutal end that not only severs his ties to the canvas, but ignites a powder keg of repercussions for everyone involved. Fans watched in stunned silence as Dalton's limited arc, introduced as a catalyst for intrigue, reached its violent peak, confirming Goddard's departure through an official announcement from the show as his last. Scenes flickered across screens. A spokesperson for General Hospital revealed to Soap Opera Digest that the role was meticulously crafted as a short-term stint designed to stir the pot without overstaying its welcome. Executive producer Frank Valentini echoed this sentiment in a heartfelt statement, praising Goddard's commitment. Daniel brought a raw authenticity to Henry that elevated every scene he touched. We're truly grateful for his talent and extend our best wishes for his future endeavors. This exit wasn't just a plot device. It was a masterstroke in storytelling, amplifying the stakes for Port Charles' intricate tapestry of relationships and rivalries, ensuring that Dalton's ghost will haunt the narrative long after his Body hits the floor. Dalton's downward spiral gained ferocious momentum in a blur of desperation and poor judgment, transforming him from a calculated schemer into a cornered animal lashing out wildly. It all unraveled during a tense encounter at a dimly lit bar where, fueled by liquid courage and mounting paranoia, he let slip a bombshell confession to Jocelyn Jacks. In a moment of unguarded vulnerability, Dalton admitted to spearheading illicit animal testing protocols, precisely the kind of forbidden research that young investigator Emma Drake had been tirelessly probing for months. The revelation hit like a thunderclap, exposing the professor's hand in a ring of bioethical violations that could topple reputations and livelihoods alike. Seized by panic, Dalton fled the scene in a haze, racing toward the foreboding isolation of Windermere Island, hoping to rally his elusive partner in crime, the mysterious Sidwell, for one last desperate strategy session. But the cat was out of the bag, and the echoes of his words reverberated through the town's gossip mill, drawing unwanted scrutiny to their hidden operations. This frantic bolt not only severed any chance of redemption, but also painted a target on his back as the web of lies he spun began to constrict around him, adding layers to his unraveling. Flashbacks in recent episodes hinted at Dalton's fractured psyche, haunted by a fabricated past of academic glory, masking deeper insecurities from a life of ethical compromise, is making his confession feel less like a slip and more like an inevitable fracture in his armored resolve. Why this particular exit resonates so profoundly in the General Hospital universe lies in its ripple effects across the ensemble, challenging alliances and exposing fractures that were merely hairline before. Henry Dalton wasn't just a disposable villain. He served as a mirror reflecting the moral ambiguities that define Port Charles, forcing characters to confront their own complicity in the shadows. His abrupt removal clears the deck for bolder confrontations, particularly as it spotlights the escalating feud between Emma and Jocelyn, to fierce young women, now bound by shared outrage over Dalton's manipulations. Emma, with her sharp intellect and unyielding pursuit of justice, had already clashed with Jocelyn's more impulsive nature. But Dalton's admissions have forged their rivalry into a blazing inferno, promising courtroom dramas and personal vendettas that could redefine their futures. Moreover, the professor's entanglements dragged innocent bystanders like Rocco into the fray, amplifying the human cost of his schemes and underscoring themes of collateral damage in a town where family ties are both shield and shackle. This departure matters because it recalibrates power dynamics, stripping away a key player in the underground experiments while elevating threats like the enigmatic Five Poppies artifact, a cryptic relic tied to ancient curses and modern Grebet. Dalton's actions have now thrust into the spotlight. Ultimately, his end isn't a mere plot cleanup. It's a narrative pivot that invites deeper exploration of trust, betrayal, and the precarious balance between ambition and morality in Port Charles. As tensions boiled over on the misty shores of Windermere, the final confrontation unfolded with the cold precision of a thriller, sealing Dalton's fate in a hail of betrayal. Britt Westman, ever the pragmatic survivor with a history of navigating Port Charles' underbelly, had reached her breaking point with the professor's recklessness, his blatant lies to the authorities, and the reckless involvement of Rocco in his web of deception had eroded any lingering loyalty. Sidwell, the shadowy financier, pulling strings from the operations core, seated at the spotlight Dalton had unwittingly cast on their illicit endeavors, viewing the professor as a liability too volatile to salvage. In a pivotal scene laced with electric dialogue, Britt, her eyes steely with resolve, urged Sidwell to sever ties decisively. He's a loose end that's unraveling everything we've built. Cut him free before he drags us all down. Without a flicker of remorse, Sidwell complied, drawing a slate pistol from his coat and firing a single muffled shot straight into Dalton's chest. The professor staggered, clutching the wound, as shock etched his features, collapsing amid the crumbling ruins of Winder in a tao of poetic justice. This execution style demise left no room for ambiguity. At Dalton's arc ends in blood, not ambiguity, while hinting at Sidwell's deeper machinations, perhaps involving experimental serums that could resurrect threats in unforeseen ways. The scenes, stark cinematography with rain-slicked stones and flickering torchlight, amplify the tragedy, reminding viewers that in Port Charles alliances are as fleeting as they are fatal. Daniel Goddard's portrayal of Henry Dalton infused the character with a magnetic duality, part erudite manipulator, part tragic figure undone by hubris, offering fans a fresh lens on familiar faces through unexpected pairings. His chemistry with the ensemble sparked innovative dynamics, particularly opposite Brennan Brunner as Emma, whose scenes crackled with intellectual sparring that Brunner herself lauded in interviews for Goddard's grounded intensity and collaborative spirit. These interactions not only heightened Emma's investigative arc, but also showcased Goddard's versatility, transforming a one-note antagonist into a multifaceted foil. Equally compelling was his rapport with Jeannie Francis as Laura Collins, a far cry from their shared history on The Young and the Restless, where Francis once embodied his on-screen mother. Here, their public showdown where Dalton smears threaten Laura's mayoral re-election by dredging up fabricated scandals pivoted into a tense cat and mouse game, blending political intrigue with personal stakes. Francis noted in a recent podcast how Goddard's nuanced delivery brought a new edge to Laura's vulnerability, enriching her character's resilience amid the storm. Goddard's tenure, though brief, bridged eras of soap storytelling, blending classic villain with modern psychological depth, and his exit leaves a void that promises to echo in casting rumors and fan campaigns for a potential return. The aftermath of Dalton's demise unfurls like a storm cloud over Port Charles, layering fresh complications at top, smoldering embers and propelling multiple arcs into overdrive. Emma and Jocelyn's simmering antagonism, once confined to petty barbs, now erupts into a full-throated battle for truth, with each woman piecing together Dalton's confessions to expose a broader conspiracy that could implicate high-profile figures. Britt's deepening ties to Sidwell, forged in the fires of shared secrets, teeter on a knife's edge. Her fury at Dalton's sloppiness masks a growing unease about her own role in the experiments, potentially leading to a redemption arc or further descent into moral gray areas. The 5 Poppy's enigma, that alluring artifact. Whispered about in underground circles. As a key to unlocking forbidden knowledge. Gains urgency with Dalton's files now scattered and vulnerable to scavengers. Laura Collins' political standing hangs by a thread. Her campaign battered by the fallout from Dalton's targeted attacks, forcing her to rally allies like Kevin and navigate voter backlash in a subplot ripe for civic drama. Looming largest is the plight of Rocco, the young boy falsely accused in Dalton's desperate bid for cover, whose innocence now demands justice and protection, pulling in guardians like Dante and Lulu into a protective frenzy. This multifaceted fallout doesn't just close doors, it shatters windows, inviting new villains, unlikely team UPS, and revelations that could reshape the town's power structure for seasons to come. Beyond the screen, Daniel Goddard's real-life journey adds a poignant layer to his farewell as he grapples with profound personal grief amid professional transitions. The actor recently opened up on social media about the heartbreaking loss of his father, a figure who shaped his early passion for performance, prompting an immediate return to his native Australia to honor the memory with a private family ceremony. In an emotional Instagram post, Goddard expressed, "Your thoughts and prayers mean the world during this tough time. I'm overwhelmed by the kindness from fans and colleagues alike. This vulnerability humanizes the star, whose career has spanned continents from Australian soaps to American prime time, and underscores the demanding pace of soap work. As Port Charles mourns Dalton's on-screen end, it mirrors Goddard's off-screen hiatus, fueling speculation about future projects. Perhaps a return to indie films or even a guest spot on another daytime drama. His gratitude toward the GH team highlights the bonds formed in the pressure cooker of production, leaving fans hopeful that his path will circle back to the genre that launched him. As the dust settles in Port Charles, Henry Dalton's violent curtain call proves to be anything but conclusive. His schemes have sown seeds of discord that will bloom into epic confrontations and unforeseen twists. From fractured friendships to unearthed scandals, the professor's legacy ensures that no corner of the town escapes unscathed, setting the stage for a riveting chapter where truth hunts down deception with relentless fury.